What happens now in a scenario where you drink a revi'it of Kiddush, and you also have a kezait of Mezonot. So the scenario where you made Kiddush, you drank a revi'it, now you have to say ala gefen. You also had many Mezonot, you ate a kezait amount of Mezonot, and you have to say ala michya. How does it work? Can you include both together? Do you have to include both together or not? So there's a machloket of Rishonim whether or not ala michya covers al hagefen, meaning the same way we know that with birkat hamazon, I say birkat hamazon and it covers the kiddush I said earlier in the seudah. Some Rishonim want to argue that the mezonot that follows the Beracha Achrona of Shabbat morning also is poter, also covers the ala gefen, the yain from a Beracha Achrona. And other Rishonim disagree and say no, they're separate. It's not the same as the case of the hamotzi. In this scenario, you should make ala gefen, ala mechav, ala kakala, ala gefen, ala pri gefen, and halacha. That's what we do. Someone who has a revit of wine or grape juice and a kezait of mezonot, he says one bracha achrona, and he includes both ala michya, ala kakala, ala pri gefen, and then he continues with the regular text, and he ends off with both berachot. Now, it's very important to know that someone, let's say, had a revit of wine and or had a kezait of mezonot and didn't have a revit of wine, or vice versa. Let's say he had both. Let's say he forgot to add one of them. He forgot to say ala gefen, and he only says ala michya. In that scenario, you don't have to go back and say ala gefen again, because maybe the ala michya covers the ala gefen requirement. Now, there are many other ramifications. What happens if I have less than the revit of wine, but a kezait of mezonot, or opposite, less than a kezait of mezonot and revit of wine? Can you add ala gefen about al mechia? If you have a safek, maybe you had enough, between 18 to 27 cubic centimeters. In all scenarios, Rav Ovadia explains that if you add in ala gefen or ala mechia when not needed, it is not necessarily a safek, assuming that you have a reason to be adding it. So if you ate enough that you think you might have to say it, and you're saying it regardless because of the mezonot, you could also add ala gefen in the beginning and the end, and it's not considered a safek. Now last, let's say one person is saying the Beracha Achrona to poter everyone else, like fulfill everyone else's obligation. Like we do, we say Beracha Achrona, amen. Some people like to do it with ala michya as well. It's a long prayer, not everyone knows it. So one person sits down and says the bracha, everyone answers amen. The halacha explains that, let's say he also adds in ala gefen v'al gefen, but I didn't have a revit of wine, so I'm not obligated to say ala gefen. I only have to say ala michya. He has to say both ala michya and ala gefen, and he says it. Am I yotzeh? Did I fulfill my obligation or not? So Rav Ovadia explains that yes, you are yotzeh, you fulfill your obligation, and it's not considered a hefsek, not considered an interruption, even though had you have been making that bracha, you would not have said those extra words of ala gefen v'al gefen. Nevertheless, it's still not considered a hefsek, and you can be yotzeh with someone else who's adding extra words that you wouldn't have said on your own had you been saying it by yourself. Have a wonderful day, and Shavua Tov.